Welcome to A Marvelous Life. I'm Nashology, and today we are concluding our series on the Secret Invasion. So if you haven't already had a chance to watch part 1, go find that video over on this channel and we'll be right here waiting for you when you get back. The invasion has begun and the world is starting to fall apart. Not only are the Avengers split apart, the Fantastic Four are nowhere to be found. And to make matters worse, Spider-Woman has been the Skrull Queen in disguise this entire time. Things aren't looking too good for our heroes. But luckily for you, the action isn't over. So without further ado, I present to you the conclusion of the Secret Invasion. Enjoy. For generations, humanity has conquered. They explore, they move in, they exterminate. An undying cycle. But today, that changes. Today, humanity will be the one on the chopping block. No quarter given. The invasion has begun, and the heroes of Earth will come to accept defeat. That is, the heroes that are still caught up in the fight. The heroes who haven't given up hope against the greater evil. They will do what they can to hold off the Horde, but it will not be enough. Because the people of Earth do not fight as one. An army cannot win if trust is broken. And that trust is the only thing holding humanity together, the glue keeping the Earth intact. But that glue is losing its hold. The Avengers are fighting a losing battle. And even worse, the Avengers are losing themselves. How can you tell what's real in a war where people can change their skin like clothes? And how do you stop an invasion when you don't know what side you're fighting for? High above Earth, Carol Danvers rushes towards New York. She needs to reach the fight before the Skrulls take out the Resistance. The intensity of the fight can be heard miles away. Carol knows that this war is for real. She just needs to hurry up before the calamity continues. But unfortunately for Miss Marvel, she's entered the war zone. The Skrull invasion has brought the city to its knees. All hell has broken loose. And at the moment, only Nick Fury and his secret warriors stand in the path of destruction. They fight off the Skrull horde, keeping the aliens at bay with the incredible powers at their disposal. But Fury knows that this battle is lost, and he screams out to his crew to collect the fallen heroes. The only hope humanity has is a swift retreat. New York has fallen to the Skrulls. And as Carol Danvers continues to fight, she finds herself overwhelmed by the invaders. That is, until a powerful blast strikes the Skrull from behind. Nick Fury and his team of commandos finish fighting off the Skrulls. Their only mission is to safely evacuate any human survivors. But before they leave, Nick Fury takes one last aim of his weapon. There's one Skrull still left in the fight. And that's one Skrull too many. Carol Danvers didn't see it coming. Whatever that gun was, it was incredibly powerful, and with their evacuation now in motion, Nick Fury and his crew disappear from New York. Carol watches as they depart, horror filling her as she's abandoned like a discarded toy. The Skrulls pounce on her at once, pulling her further into darkness. Why would Fury leave her? Why would he do this? She's on his team. She's an Avenger. She's one of them. She's a hero. Back in the Savage Land, Skrull Queen Veraki reminds Tony that he's been a Skrull all along. The real Stark is gone. You're not him. You're not even human. You've been placed here for one reason: to help the invasion succeed. Earth is almost conquered. In just a few hours, it'll be the new Skrull homeworld. There's nobody that can stop them now. No Avengers, no Iron Man, and no chance at stopping this. The humans will need a miracle. But according to Black Widow, All she needs is a few bullets. That is, if the interruptions would stop. Turning around, Natasha sees Beast and Jean Grey, two of the X-Men, and they look fairly human to her, but clearly not human enough. Dropping to the ground, both Skrulls reveal their true selves, their green flesh reappearing amidst the bullet holes. Returning her attention to the Skrull Queen, Natasha realizes her mistake. She should have killed Queen Veranki when she had the chance. Damn it. Rushing over to Tony, Natasha helps him to his feet. He's cold, in shock. It looks like he's dying and fast. With what energy he has, Tony tells her that he might be a Skrull. She should leave while she can, but Natasha doesn't believe it, not for a second, and instead jabs Tony with a shot of adrenaline. This should get him on his feet for now. As Tony recovers, Natasha tells him to ignore everything the Skrull Queen has said. The Skrulls rely on manipulation and subterfuge. They're a species of liars. She made up that lie to break Tony Stark, nothing more. Unsure of what's real, Tony tells Natasha what he wants. He wants to kill every Skrull he can get his hands on. That feeling is very real. And as a red-blooded Wolverine stumbles into the meeting, the three Avengers know a plan is needed. If humanity is going to survive, there's one person they need to find. They need Reed Richards. Back in New York, the Skrull invasion continues its bloody conquest. The human population is in chaos, and the Skrulls are inching closer to total domination. Once they kill these humans, there'll be nobody left to stop them. Or so they thought. Powerful electricity surges through the invading horde, brilliant light filling the streets, and the people can only look up in awe as their savior has finally arrived. And he's brought the storm. The Skrull invasion fleet hovers safely above Earth. It's a good day for the Queen's army. Countless ships with countless warriors, and on top of that, countless Earth heroes kidnapped and imprisoned on board. But for the heroes of Earth to succeed, they only need one prisoner at the moment. And Sword Commander Abigail Brand is determined to find that prisoner. Sneaking on board the Skrull mothership was easy. After all, there's nowhere Abigail Brand cannot go. And this is a mission of critical importance. Reed Richards is humanity's best shot at winning this war, and only the mothership would contain such a prize. And as a tear falls down her cheek, Abigail just hopes that she isn't too late. Reed was recently taken from Earth, stolen by an imposter Hank Pym. The Skrulls knew they needed Reed Richards in order to succeed with their invasion. So, they took their prized possession. But not for long. Not if Abigail has anything to say about it. But a sudden sound catches her attention. She's not alone after all. She's been caught. 2 guards and likely a lot more coming. And as she looks down the barrel of a powerful laser, Abigail knows Earth is relying on her success. And in the name of Earth, she'll kill every last one of them. Shot after shot, Abigail Brand unloads into every Skrull she can find. She'll do this for Earth. She'll do whatever she has to. And she'll ensure no one ever messes with her planet again. A storm continues to rage over the Bermuda Triangle as Maria Hill's crashed helicarrier casually floats among the waves. The Skrull posing as Jarvis continues to present his sinister smile. Every S.H.I.E.L.D. agent on board is also a Skrull. But Maria Hill has a secret of her own. After all, she was trained by Nick Fury. The Skrull Jarvis continues to ask Maria for her unconditional surrender. The war is over. Instead, Maria begins to smile. She tells the Skrull that once humanity has kicked the crap out of the Skrull Empire, she's going to make a t-shirt. One with a really catchy slogan on the front. But before she reveals the catchy slogan to the Skrulls, Maria widens her smile further. S.H.I.E.L.D. and their secrets. It's not Maria Hill. It's a life model decoy, a perfect doppelganger. The Skrulls look down in annoyance. The death of Maria Hill would have been a huge positive for the invasion. And with one final utterance, the Maria Hill android mockingly says the t-shirt slogan. Nick Fury was right. And this war is far from over. Before the Skrulls can react to the misdirection, the plan is already put in motion. And as long as Maria Hill is alive, Earth will have a fighting chance.
Helicarrier self-destruct activated. Goodbye.
Back on the Skrull mothership, Abigail Brand stands amongst the dead Skrull warriors. A tortured Reed Richards begins grimacing in extreme pain. But in order to get Reed out of here alive, she needs to clear the rest of the Skrulls on the ship. And what better way than blowing the airlock? Thousands of Skrulls pour out into the bitter cold of space. 1,000 more bodies unable to invade humanity's home. Too busy to feel any emotion, Abigail gets to work at releasing Reed Richards. He's needed back on Earth. And with Reed freed from the Skrull contraption, Abigail tries to wake him at once, only to be immediately choked halfway dead. Reed doesn't know who to trust, his anger overcoming his actions. With her oxygen running thin, Abigail pleads for her life and is eventually released from Reed's anger. Pissed off, Reed knows his family is in danger and he'll stop at nothing to free them. He'll get his revenge on the Skrull Empire one way or another. As Abigail catches her breath, Reed begins plotting a course for home. He knows exactly what he needs for the next mission. Abigail tells him that the Avengers are stranded in Antarctica. If Earth is going to fight back, they'll need everyone on board. To which Reed quickly agrees. If they're to stop the Skrull invasion, they'll need a lot of help. And a very, very big weapon. Over in the Savage Land, Tony, Natasha, and Wolverine are back to ground zero. They're surrounded by familiar faces, but who is real and who is a Skrull? It's impossible to know. Everyone has gathered once more, but the truth escapes every Avenger present. Susan Storm demands that nobody move. She'll get to the bottom of this. But Hawkeye and Mockingbird can't trust anyone. Another battle is going to break out. Spider-Man braces himself for combat, as Thor begins issuing threats to everyone around. If he can't tell who's a Skrull, then he will smite everyone. But as Tony Stark looks up at the sky, he realizes the party has already begun. A large purple blast rips into the ground between the heroes. It didn't hit anybody, but that wasn't the point. Confused, Tony looks up into the sky. It can't be. It is Reed Richards himself, the one person on Earth the Skrulls fear most. The purpose of the weapon is revealed. It wasn't meant to hit anyone. It was meant to reveal everyone. Whatever this weapon is, Skrulls cannot hide from it. And as Hawkeye prepares to take down the Skrulls, he's hit with one more shock. She's not real. She's one of them.
Give me the gun, now!
Wait, Clint, please!
Seconds pass, but it feels like hours. Luke Cage can't bring himself to open his eyes. The Skrull imposters are dead, destroyed like simple vermin. There's nothing left to do in the Savage Land. the invasion continues in New York. The Avengers catch their breath as they prepare for the war to come. Reed will not stop until all the Skrulls are in the dirt. And as the silence becomes unbearable, Hawkeye lets out a final call to action. This war doesn't end until every Skrull is dead. There will be no prisoners. Earth is almost in their grasp. The humans will have no choice but to give up the fight. Everything they have planned is coming to fruition. It's only a matter of days now. SWORD, humanity's space defense force, is now destroyed. SHIELD is down and out of the fight. The home of the Fantastic Four is now displaced to the negative zone. And Stark Tech is now offline all over the world. The invasion is almost complete. Only one thing still remains. The Avengers must die. They are the only things coming between victory and defeat. And as long as the Avengers still live, the people of Earth will not join the Skrull Empire willingly. Skrull Queen Viraki has arrived with news. The Avengers have escaped their trap in the Savage Land, but that's not all. Reed Richards is leading them. He's escaped, and now leading Earth's defenses. But luckily for the Skrulls, they have one final trick up their sleeve, an ace card that is sure to win them the war. They just need to make sure Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, is on the playing field. If she is, victory is all but guaranteed. As the Avengers depart the Savage Land, tensions begin to rise. The final battle is likely to begin soon. Skrull Queen Viraki knows the Avengers are all that's standing in their way. With the Civil War behind them, Tony's Mighty Avengers and Luke Cage's New Avengers will need to put their differences aside. The Skrulls demand their full attention. And Tony Stark's anger is reaching a boiling point. The Skrulls need to pay for everything they've done. Luke Cage reminds him that the Avengers have not yet been defeated. They're still here, and that won't end anytime soon. And as the combined Avengers teams reach New York, they're in for a rude awakening. A city on fire and under siege. The Skrulls are winning this war. If they don't stop the invasion today, the entire planet will be next. The streets of New York explode in chaos. The Skrulls have ceased hostilities for now. And as protesters begin gathering to welcome the Skrulls to Earth, the police try to hold back the growing crowds. But although excited, the New Yorkers don't realize how dangerous the Skrulls are. They live to conquer. A lesson that is moments away from being taught. As a large Skrull warrior approaches the excited crowd. But friendly, he is not. And now he's going to show New York why Earth has lost this war. Or so he thought. Back in the fight, Nick Fury and his secret warriors are not letting New York fall. With the repaired Vision and the young Avengers at his side, round 2 of the Battle of New York begins. And this time, Nick Fury isn't looking to retreat. This time, somebody dies. And as the battle rages on, the criminal kingpin known as the Hood watches from a penthouse apartment. He tells his crew to gather every supervillain they can. They've sat out this fight long enough. No more Earth is bad for business, and the Skrulls are not going to end his reign without his permission. It's time for the Hood's crime syndicate to spill some alien blood. Back on the ground, Nick Fury and his team of heroes finish killing off the Skrulls. But that was just the beginning. And it seems like someone else wants in on the fun. Lightning strikes, and they're getting closer. Painfully close. Fury tells his team to head to the source. The next battle is about to start. And something tells him that the climactic battle will be the deadliest one yet. The Skrull Queen and her minions, all gathered in Central Park. They're ready to accept the Avengers' surrender, or they will end their miserable existence right here, right now. The Skrulls have endless firepower at their disposal. The Avengers stand no chance. The Earth will be theirs, and humanity will join the Empire or fall. But the Skrulls will have their hands full, because Earth's greatest heroes have arrived, and they're pissed off and ready for battle. And with a mighty swing of his hammer, Thor declares war on the Skrull Empire. And with him, a symbol to stand behind, a symbol that can't be killed. Together, they will make the Skrull Empire shake to its core. The Avengers have answered the call, and they will not back down from what comes next. Because Reed Richards is here for revenge. He's here to end the Skrull Queen once and for all. And with a large team of Avengers behind him, Iron Man shouts at the top of his lungs, "Avengers, assemble!" The Battle of New York is on. The final showdown between the Avengers and the Skrull Empire is here. Reed Richards calls for everyone to take out the Skrull Queen. If she goes down, everyone will follow. Thor and Iron Man do their best to hold the Skrulls at bay, while the Hood uses his powerful pistols to kill as many Skrulls as he can. All over Central Park, thousands of warriors duel it out to the death. This will be a war to remember. Bucky Barnes, the new Captain America, fights off the Horde as Iron Man and Thor make their way through the battlefield. The Skrull Queen, still in disguise as Spider-Woman, informs her warriors to take out Reed Richards. Blood and ash cover the fighters as explosions rip through Central Park, and sworn enemies fight side by side, as Norman Osborn and Nick Fury do their part in protecting the planet. As Wolverine uses his claws to enact a bloody vengeance, the Queen's second-in-command uses Hank Pym's form to grow to epic proportions, as he tries to kill the Wasp in cold blood, causing her to chaotically fly to safety. But he's not going to give up. He'll see the Avengers dead to make his queen proud. But Cassie Lang, the young Avenger known as Stature, has other plans, as she grows larger and delivers a massive blow to the Hank Pym imposter. But Spider-Man has his own problems, as Bullseye targets the web crawler with a missile launcher, determined to take out the distracted hero. But he misses, and instead hits the Hank Pym imposter directly in the eye, causing massive damage to the Queen's second-in-command. Iron Man continues fighting off the Skrulls as the Hood empties round after round into the alien invaders. Realizing he's too weak for this fight, Iron Man decides to leave and fix his armor. Right now, he's a liability. And as the clang of metal roars through New York, the Avenger Ares laughs in the heat of battle. Another day of bloodshed for the god of war. But Reed Richards isn't laughing, as he's ganged up on by several Sue Storm imposters, each of them trying to rip Mr. Fantastic's elastic body apart. He's unable to fight them all off. But Nick Fury and Quake are here to help, as the Secret Warriors work together to tear off the Skrulls and whisk Reed Richards to safety. Meanwhile, Wolverine sets his gaze on the true target, the Skrull Queen herself. And he attacks her with vicious ferocity, trading blows with one another in a bloody dance to the death. He stabs her directly in the shoulder, but she repays him with an electric shock to the face, sending the animalistic X-Man reeling. Over at Avengers Tower, Jessica Jones and Jarvis watch the war unfold. They cannot believe their eyes at the destruction. The world is coming apart at the seams. Jessica knows that her husband needs her, The Avengers need all the help they can get. So through tears, she asks Jarvis if he'll protect her daughter, Danielle. To which he quickly replies, yes, Danielle is safe in his hands. Holding back more tears, Jessica gives her baby one final kiss, and then jumps out the window and beelines it right for Central Park, leaving Danielle alone in Jarvis's care. The battle heats up as the Avengers, the Thunderbolts, and every other superpowered being in New York fights off the Skrull invasion, including Jessica Jones and her powerful husband, Luke Cage, who proceeds to punch a Skrull with so much force as to pop an eyeball directly from its skull. Anger pouring over him, Hawkeye dons a bow and proceeds to fire off several arrows, helping many Skrull warriors into an early grave. But there she is, the Skrull Queen, still locked in combat with Wolverine. Now's his chance. It's time to end this conflict once and for all. This is for Mockingbird. Hitting his target, Hawkeye watches as the Skrull Queen is taken out of the fight, much to the shock of her second in command. She drops to the wet ground with a terrifying thud, the arrow launched in her cheek. The Hank Pym imposter cries out for his queen. He refuses to let the humans win. And with a push of a button, he activates the Skrull's hidden weapon. A weapon buried deep within Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp. Janet begins convulsing in midair, her body shaking uncontrollably, her entire nervous system shutting down. She begins falling from the sky, her body no longer under her control. Her memories painfully explain what's happening to her. Months ago, an anniversary gift from Hank Pym, a gift from a Skrull imposter. A new growth formula meant to help her use her powers more efficiently. It was a trap she never saw coming. And now the trap has been activated, a final parting gift from the Skrull Empire. Her body is now a living bomb. If the Skrulls cannot take Earth from the humans, then nobody will have the Earth at all. Every living being will be destroyed. And as Jarvis transforms back into his Skrull form, he speaks calmly to Danielle. The Skrulls always win, no matter the cost. As quickly as the invasion began, it had ended. No matter how hard they tried, the Avengers were never going to lose. This planet is theirs to protect, and they would stop at nothing to achieve this purpose. They would die for this planet. The Skrulls had turned Janet Van Dyne into a living bomb. Her growth formula filled her with so much power that all of New York was in danger. Humanity has no idea how truly close they were to becoming extinct. But the Skrulls didn't plan on the intervention of Thor, who had no choice but to destroy the bomb that threatened everyone. Summoning a powerful tornado, it took only a few minutes for the commanding Mjolnir to trap Janet within. It took all of Thor's strength to contain the bomb, and tearfully, he knew the result that awaited him. The world could only watch as the Skrulls killed Janet Van Dyne. Thor did what he could to ease her pain. The Avengers watched as a founding member slowly perished into nothingness, ripped apart by forces so powerful that one could only shudder at what would happen if Thor was not present. And after just mere moments, she was gone. With Janet Van Dyne dead, the Avengers turned their attention to the woman responsible, the Queen of the Skrulls, the extremist who put it all on the line to take the planet from humanity. But the Avengers weren't about to let her crimes go unpunished. The invasion had ended the lives of many, but there was still one life left to give. And as Wolverine looked to end the Skrull Queen for good, claws unsheathed and poised for blood, humanity found its savior in another. In front of billions of people, the world was saved by Norman Osborn. A deadly invasion ended by the least expected. But that was just the beginning of the end for the Skrulls, for humanity had a message of their own to send. As hundreds of superpowered individuals took to the skies with a vengeful fury, and within an hour, thousands of Skrull warships were destroyed. Without proper leadership and no plan of retreat, humanity made short work of the Empire. But Tony Stark was about to make an unbelievable discovery, for one of the ships contained life forms that matched human. Tony couldn't believe his eyes. And as the Avengers and the US government dealt with the post-invasion landscape, Tony safely brought his discovery down to Earth. One final Skrull warship with over hundreds of life forms on board. But little did the Avengers know this moment would stay with them for the rest of their lives. Every person the Skrull Empire captured, every soul they had taken, alive and well, loved ones, teammates, and people long thought forgotten, they were all here. Including the original Jessica Drew, the face taken by the Skrull Queen herself, as well as the original Hank Pym, who had been missing long before the invasion was set in motion. It was a bright moment amidst a dark stain on the Avengers' history, as long-lost friends were once again reunited. However, some reunions were more heartfelt than others as Bobby Morse, also known as Mockingbird, departs from the Skrull ship. Unsure whether or not this was another trick, Clint Barton subdues his smile. Could this be real? Could this actually be Bobby? Or is this another dream that's about to twist into a familiar nightmare? A nightmare Clint has already lived through once before. But this is no trick. Not this time. This time, she's actually back. This time, she's actually cheated death. And this time, love finally wins. As reuniting couples rediscover their love, one more important task is left to complete. The Skrulls knew Reed Richards was their greatest danger. They needed to take out the Baxter building to ensure success. A negative zone breach was initiated which would pull the building out of our universe. And now, it's the final task set before Reed. He has saved his family, and now he will save his home. Rushing back to New York, Reed's unparalleled genius strikes again. What's the point of having a gateway to the negative zone without a contingency plan? As always, Reed has a solution. As Johnny and Ben Grimm try their best to undo the damage initiated by the Skrulls, Reed promptly takes over. The Skrulls were never going to win. He would have died to ensure that. This is his planet to protect, and nobody will take it away from him. And with the contingency plan carried out, the Baxter building miraculously repairs itself in a matter of seconds. Thousands of steel beams and infrastructure building itself back together. The Skrulls were never going to win. It just wasn't in the cards. But happy endings were not received by all. With poison coating his every word, Thor only has one person to blame for this mess. One person who carries the shame. The Civil War, the schism within the Avengers, and now the secret invasion. It all falls on him. He let his ego control him. He let the safety of the planet slip. And now, Tony Stark is a man fallen from grace. Clearing his throat, the President of the United States speaks clearly and calmly. Tony Stark is out. This all falls on his shoulders. A criminal investigation into Stark will begin immediately. He'll be lucky if he ever sees the light of day again. S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer viable. it will be shut down immediately and replaced with something more exacting, a better institution. The world needs a strong hand to guide it forward, and Tony Stark was never that guide. The world needs to be confident in Tony Stark's replacement, and the world will never be safer than with Norman Osborn and the Thunderbolts program in charge of world security. Welcome to the top of the world, Norman.
The top of the world. It's a new day, so listen up. This is how it's going to be.
Deep beneath the prison known as the Raft, two Skrull prisoners confidently decide to hold their tongues. They will speak to no human. But this is no normal human. This is the man in charge. But Norman Osborn doesn't have time for games. He's a busy man after all. And busy men like to get to the bottom of important matters quickly. And as Venom begins eating one of the Skrull prisoners, Norman can't help but smile. A Skrull with the form of Jarvis has taken the baby of Luke Cage. That baby does not belong to him. And as Luke Cage approaches the terrified Skrull, he begins to speak at once. With a stern look, Luke Cage reaches his hand out. The Jarvis Skrull has something that belongs to him, and he isn't leaving without it. Scared, the Skrull says that Luke will kill him, and he isn't ready to die. But with a calm voice, Luke tells him that if he doesn't get the baby, he'll suffer a fate worse than death. Realizing he stands no chance against the power of Luke Cage, the Skrull hands him the baby. With an undying radiance, Danielle smiles up at her father. Together at last. As for the Skrull, he should have never come to Earth. Because now it's under the protection of Norman Osborn and the Dark Avengers. I hope you enjoyed our rendition of The Secret Invasion. Stay tuned for further entries in this series. We still have quite a bit of new Avengers material to work through, including the introduction of Norman Osborn and his Dark Avengers. In the meantime, stay tuned for a lot more Marvel content. I'm Nashology, and this is A Marvelous Life.